2, 3, stop. Watch out, she stole. Watch out. 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, turn, 2, 3. All right, good.
Well, Barbara's dance card has been full for over 30 years with presidents, superstars, and world leaders, and her new memoir, Audition, takes you behind the cameras of the gold standard of in-depth interviews, the Barbara Walters Specials. Barbara, first of all, every chapter that ends in this book, I'm sad when it does. I want to talk career with you. When you left NBC to go to ABC, you were labeled as the $1 million baby. Everyone was, criticizing the fact that you were going to make this $1 million. What they didn't realize, though, was that it wasn't $1 million to do just news. Can you clear up what happened?
I was criticized because I was the first female co-anchor of a network news program. That was my opening night. I was on with Harry Reasoner, and I was the $1 million baby, and everybody said, how dare she make that much money? They then, by the way, went in and asked for the money themselves. Got it. But they didn't realize that I was, how could you get that money? That I was also doing at that point 5 one-hour prime-time specials paid for by the entertainment department. I was a total failure in the news. Harry didn't want me there.
Failure by whose standards?
Harry Reasoner did not like you.
He didn't. Well,
what was the problem in that?
He didn't want a partner. He didn't want a woman. He didn't want somebody who hadn't grown up working for the Associated Press. I'd come out of television. I'd had some of that when I was on the Today Show.
But what he said
not
was
with Hugh
awful,
Downs,
I
but
thought.
he was terrible to me. And it was a very painful time, and I thought that I was finished and that my career was over. But what saved me was that I did the specials. The first one was with Barbara Streisand and her then boyfriend, John Peters, which nearly drove me crazy because she wanted control of what we did, and I gave it to her. I've never done it since. I've never given anybody control over the copy. Well, and John, and then President-elect Jimmy Carter, where I made a big mistake in that. But the point, I'll tell you, but let me just say that 30 years later, I am still doing specials. Academy Award night, 10 Most Fascinating People. They're produced now by Bill Getty. Remember him? He's the producer of The View. These specials have never stopped, and they saved my career.
Yeah, well, they gave you, I think, a different avenue, too, and you brought so much information to so many people. In your first special, when you interviewed Jimmy Carter, President-elect...
I was so criticized.
In this clip, you had just finished asking him if he had any apprehension about becoming the president.
If I could only do this over.
I feel much more sure of myself having Rosalind and Jack and Chip and Jeffrey and their wives as equal partners in it with me. I think that our awareness of what goes on in the country and the awareness of the nation, that I care about everyone and want to do a good job, will be reassuring. But that's a major concern that I have, is just to do a good job.
Thank you for letting us in your house and in your lives.
Thank you.
Be wise with us, Governor, and be good to us.
Try.
Thank you.
Now, why was that a mistake?
If I had said that, everybody would have said maybe how...
What did you be
by
good
saying,
to
be wise to us, be good to us. They killed me.
Really?
Why didn't you just tuck them into bed? Why didn't you just kiss them goodnight? Of all the stupid, feminine things to do. I mean, I mentioned in the book some of my colleagues who are still in the business who tore me apart. And this was my first special. I wanted to just, get it. I'm bad enough I had Harry Reasoner in the news. Then I had this.
Do you still think that's a mistake to end it that way, or do you think in that time...
Well, it doesn't seem so bad to me now, but it was so natural. But
especially since you've seen other people do it really
all the
badly.
time now, But also, at the time, we were doing, like we were the beginnings of a news magazine, because I would do a celebrity and a head of state or something. I did the Shah of Iran and the Empress of Iran, and I did Barbara Jordan, who was a congressman at the time, Vice President Mondale, and so forth. What we found was that people wanted the celebrities more and more and more. And so that's when I got the reputation of being a celebrity interviewer. It's like, what do you listen to? I listen to Brahms. What am I buying? I'm buying, rock and roll. So that's how we began to do more and more celebrities.
We actually have another clip. You said that two of your worst interviews were with Warren Beatty. And the first time you interviewed him and sat down with him, he pretty much didn't answer a couple questions, just stopped talking. The second time, well, this is how it went.
You have a history of falling in love with your leading ladies. Is that part of the excitement and the creativity of working, or do you work with somebody whom you're already attracted to?
Well, as you know, I'm not going to answer that kind of question.
You know what?
Okay.
He didn't answer almost any question, but then, I mean, Bill Getty at that point was a producer of the specials. He was so thrilled to have Warren Beatty, and I love Warren, and Warren is brilliant, and you know him. Yeah. But if you say to him, "How are you?" he says,
I'm not going to answer that
no,
question.
that's a very difficult question. That's a very
Not great for an interview.
I said to Bill, by the time this is over, you will feel the way I do. There was a big yellow car that was supposed to be Dick Tracy's car. It took Bill 3 weeks to find out where Warren Beatty wanted to place the car. So, I mean, part of what I did in this book, because I just didn't want to do that, I interviewed the next celebrity. I do the best and the worst and the ones I could interview again and the ones I never want to interview again. And one of the ones, and I love him, is Warren Beatty, who when the 2-hour interview was over, said, "I'm much more relaxed. Can we do this again?" Yeah.
Oh, he needed a warm-up, maybe.
You talk about Bill, and you've been working on these specials for over 20 years together. Bill Getty, our executive producer here, but you and Bill are not the only two people on the show who have worked together in the past. We actually have a little bit more history. Take a look at this.
How important is it for you to win an Academy Award this year?
This year, it's important to me to win one. Whether it's going to be this year or not is, you never know. But it's very important to me to win one.
Why?
Because it's not been done since 1939.
What's not been done?
No black woman has had an Academy Award ever as the Best Actress, ever. And the last Best Supporting Actress went out in 1939.
And that was?
Hattie McDaniel.
For Gone with the Wind?
Yeah. So I want one. It's the Beach House.
Wow.
She won one and she got one. And you were one of our, I loved you then, and look where we are today.
See, together again at last. We both look the same, too.
Yes, we do. And you won your Academy
I finally
Award.
got my Academy Award.
First black woman.
What makes somebody fascinating, in your
When we
opinion?
do 10 most fascinating people?
Yeah, what's the
well,
most...
I would like to tell you that we sit down and we do great polls. We don't. Bill Getty and I and a very small staff sit down, and you can almost pick the people who have made the news.
I see.
And sometimes we make mistakes and sometimes we're ahead of the game. But we've been doing that, I don't know, like 20 years, and it's one of our most successful specials.
Well, what makes people, you were known for making the celebrities cry. Every time I watch a special, they would always start crying. But why would they cry?
Because one of the things that I did, and you see so much more now when people talk about personalities with presidential candidates, we want to know what makes them tick. I would very often ask about childhood. You ask about people's childhood or about their parents, and it's very emotional. It would make me cry if I talk about certain things.
Okay.
If I talk about my sister, for example, whom you'll read about in the book, it can make me cry. If you start to talk about childhood, your mother, your father, it is something that could evoke tears. On the other hand, you learn more about the person from their beginnings that helps you for the rest of their life and for certainly the rest of your interview.
But you interviewed a lot of actors. Do you think some of them were acting when they were crying, or were they all authentic tears? What do you think?
I don't think you can fake it. And I got to the point now where I say, don't you dare cry. You cry and I'll stop this interview.
Or they'll say, I'm going to try really hard not to cry.
Yeah.
Barbara, I have to say, when you open up this book, it really is incredible. The inside of the book, I don't know if you can see this, are the names of all the people that you have interviewed and sat down with and probably made a huge impression upon. But I think the most important thing that we're learning, and I feel like I know you better than many others right now after reading this, you are by far the most incredible out of all those names, I think. And we've learned a lot about you, and you are all going to learn a lot about it, too. Barbara's memoir Audition is available in stores now and online. Go get it. Thank you so much for being so honest.
Thank you, my
We'll
dear.
be right back.
Thank you, my friend.